This is The Switch, finding solutions to support sustainable living and combat climate change at the individual level. Brought to you by the Fur Bearers.
I'm Mike Howie, and I am here with Dr. Elisabeth Ormandy, UBC Professor, TEDx speaker, and a zero waste enthusiast. We're going to be talking about gift wrapping, and thanks so much for joining us, Elisabeth.
You are so welcome. I love this topic so much, especially this time of year.
Absolutely. And as everyone knows, we are headed into the holidays, pretty much regardless of your style of celebrating in the winter season. They're all lined up in a row. And an element of that is often gift giving. Mm-hmm. And as many of us will see across the country and around the world on the week following December 25th, bags and bags of garbage and bits of recycling and wrapping paper and all kinds of other stuff. So we want to go over briefly a couple of ways that we can prepare gifts and give gifts that come from or end up with zero waste, or at least less waste than other methods. So let's start with what are some of the ways that you prefer, Elisabeth? If you're giving gifts, how do you think about this?
My first go-to is to gift experiences that don't need wrapping. So I actually think about what can I give that is not a physical entity that needs the added layers of packaging and then wrap. Yeah. So, a massage appointment, a facial, a day at Scandinav Spa, if you're up here on the West Coast. Just experiences.
Those are great.
I got my nephew last year a trip to a science museum in the UK called Jodrell Bank. Oh. So that I just gifted them a family ticket.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's such a wonderful way too, because then it's not just something that especially I think with kids, it's not a thing you play with and forget about after 6 weeks. And for those of us who are older or maybe don't have kids, it's something different. It's something that we wouldn't necessarily do for ourselves. I mean, I'll take cash personally, but an experience is also wonderful. Mm-hmm. One of the traditions I have with a friend is we keep giving each other back and forth the exact same bag. Every year. It's the same wrapping, and I rewrap it for a gift for them and then give it to them, and they give it back to me the next year with the same wrapping. So
absolutely. Yeah, reusing your wrapping paper. Yeah, especially the bags that are hard to recycle, reusing those. And, you can't control what other people give to you, but you can re-gift, especially wrapping. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Another great one is food. And there are so many ways to provide food that is both festive and practical and zero waste.
Absolutely. And also, if I may, a vegan education that vegan cookies can taste really good.
You know what? Just went through that with someone making one of their favorite dinners for them in a vegan way. And it was a great experience. It really was.
Oh, yeah. That's a fantastic gift, actually. Let me veganize one of your favorite dinners for you. What a great gift.
What are other ways we can give gifts? Of course, handmade things I think are always popular, and whether that comes from reused materials or recycled materials can help. But you can also then just make your own cards too, something as simple as that.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I may too, I know you make your own cards and they're beautiful.
Well, thank
you. It just shows you that they can be really simple and beautiful and effective and not hopefully like mega time consuming for the person doing the making. Like you could just, it's a bit of self-care doing crafting, I find. And too. So then, you're giving something that's been made from the heart too.
Absolutely.
We actually craft our own wrapping paper sometimes. So if something does need a gift, we get brown paper and we have some stamps, some ink stamps with various patterns. And we've got some that are, various, depict either winter scenes or snowflakes or, whatever the occasion is. And we just stamp on the brown paper, wrap it up with some compostable kind of hemp or whatever. And they actually look really beautiful. And then you can use natural things for your gift tags, kind of, holly, well, not holly because that's spiky, but privet leaves or, whatever.
Yep. And actually I've made, so speaking of cards, I'm not going to sell my stuff, but I have made a bunch of little hanging tags.
Yeah.
And it's my recycled craft paper with a cutout and watercolor beneath. And I've got a hole punch, which is actually a snap divot creator, and put a little piece of twine through it. And it's a
There you go.
reusable gift tag that's a little fun and creative, and I can make
Yeah,
different colors or whatever. So there are
I love
so
that too.
many solutions like that. And I think people are excited to receive it too, knowing that you made it.
Yeah. I absolutely agree. And I think that the packaging, like, the way that you wrap things, if you're using creativity and, you reusing your materials in a creative way, then they just look beautiful.
Hmm.
You could also use fabric. So
Yes.
it's a gift, like a headscarf or a neck scarf, but
Hmm.
you actually use it as the wrap. So it's kind of a double gift. The wrapping is also something that's
Yeah.
useful to somebody. So I've done that before too, with using fabric to
Mhm.
be the wrap. And then you don't even need any string or tape because you just tie the fabric in a knot. So tape is another thing that, like, you can get creative with how you wrap. So you don't need as much or any tape.
Well, and
Yeah.
that's one of those little things that's funny is that little tiny piece of poly,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is going to
Yeah.
last 300 years. And we don't really
Yes.
think about it. But if you
Yeah.
use, again, hemp twine or
Yeah.
really most kinds of untreated twine, they will break down in the environment, but they're also reusable.
Indeed.
So you can take it off and then reattach it to something else or
Yeah.
create something else with a bunch of little pieces. There's always ways to explore that. And
Mhm.
speaking of fabric, one of the things I did, again, speaking of food, last year is my girlfriend and I baked a bunch of bread, and she enjoys sewing, made bread bags.
Oh, isn't that lovely?
So here is a bread bag with a small loaf in it. Merry Christmas. And I think, again, it's one of those people enjoy that you
Yeah.
took the time to do this. It's not
Yeah.
a big money thing and it's not going to change anyone's life, but it is such a simple, easy thing to do.
Yeah.
And for people who love to bake or cook, again, if you want to bring me cookies, they're going to get eaten. That's happening.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so I always accept that. I'd also say just art in general. On the wall behind me right now, I've got
Mhm.
multiple pieces of art that I have received as gifts, and I love them, every single
Yeah.
one of them.
Yeah. And one of my favorite gifts to receive was a Spotify playlist that was curated just for me
Mm,
by someone who knows me really well and knows my music taste. But
yeah.
it introduced me to new artists that I hadn't really heard of before. Because I don't know about anybody else, but I love music. I love discovering new music. But sometimes I find it hard to find the things that I really love. But having somebody who knows me put that time aside to really find things they think that I would really enjoy. Oh, I listen to that playlist all the time. It's really good. It was really special.
It definitely adds, again, to that, the heartfelt message of it. And it can
Mm-hmm.
incorporate other things too. So if you know someone has been struggling with something, you can give them a motivation one. Or,
Yeah.
for me, I need to rest. And if someone wants to make me a chill out playlist, because I normally listen to high speed rock and acoustic stuff to keep my energy and focus up.
Yeah.
So yeah, give me some cool, smooth jazz or something I can learn about.
Mm-hmm.
I think the other one that's worth mentioning that I give every year is donations to places.
Yes.
Doesn't have to be
Yeah.
big, a $5 donation. I have an antique underwriter typewriter, and I
Mm-hmm.
will take a piece of paper and just type out a donation was made in your name to this organization. And I think about the person, I think
Yep.
about who they are and what they mean to me. And I don't give it to the fur bearers unless it's someone who really loves the fur
Mm-hmm.
bearers.
Mm-hmm.
I give it to a charity that I think would have an impact on that person's
Yeah.
worldview in a positive way. So a friend of mine who loves to cook, he is a chef professionally. I give to the food bank every year for him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because that way it's spreading what he loves to other people who are in need, and it feels very full circle as a
Yeah.
gift in that way.
Yeah, I think that's a great suggestion. I do that too, and I'd actually forgotten about that as a form of giving.
Yeah.
I know my brother and I often will just trade donation. He's in the UK, so he'll donate to a UK charity in my name for something that he thinks I'll care about, and I'll do the same for him here in
Hmm.
Canada. And it's not only the festive times. I will do donations as sympathy gifts, like if somebody has lost an animal or a
Yeah.
person that means a lot to them. I'll make a gift in the memory of that person, and I'll
Hmm.
really think about the charity that I'm giving to, so that that person or that animal leaves a legacy. So it's actually quite a wonderful and thoughtful I've certainly been on the receiving end of that, and it means such a lot to be thought of in that way.
Yep. And it's also, if you lose anyone in life, after the passing of my father, we got a lot of donations to the charity of choice. And that's a nice, it's just a nice, I'm glad that you're thinking about us and showing that you care in this way. It's a lovely gift to receive. And as we both work at charities, it is an important gift for charities to receive and really can make a difference in so many lives in so many ways.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And to wrap up, what I'd love to say is for folks to tag us. I want to hear what other people are doing, because you and I have just talked about the things we love to do for the holidays and gift giving, but I'd love to hear from other people. So tag Howie Michael on Instagram or Defender Radio Podcast anywhere else, and we'll share some of those as we go through the holidays. But thank you, Dr. Elisabeth Ormandy.
Thank you so much, Mike.
Want to learn more about this week's episode and how your choices can benefit wildlife and their habitat? View the show notes in your app or visit defenderradio.com. To learn more about the fur bearers, visit thefurbearers.com or find them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Follow host Michael Howie on social media with @HowieMichael on Instagram or Defender Radio Podcast on Facebook. Subscribe or follow Defender Radio to get notified about new episodes of The Switch and Defender Radio right on your smart device. Thanks for listening.